Hey Vikings Nation, what's going on? Get ready because this is one of those moments that could reshape the spotlight around our team in a huge way. We're not talking about a trade, not a signing. This is something even bigger for the future of the franchise. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see why this matters more than people think. The Minnesota Vikings just made a powerful move behind the scenes, and it could bring one of the biggest events in football straight to our home. This isn't speculation anymore. It's official. The organization is stepping up, making noise, and putting Minnesota right in the center of the NFL universe. But here's the real question. Can the Vikings actually pull this off and beat out the competition? Stay with me because we're breaking everything down, and I want to hear your take in the comments as we go. The big news dropped on Wednesday, and it immediately caught attention across the league. Minnesota officially submitted a bid to host the 2028 NFL Draft. And this is not just a casual attempt. It's a serious push backed by major support. This move instantly places Minneapolis in the conversation for one of the NFL's most high-profile offseason events. We're talking about a spectacle that draws hundreds of thousands of fans, global media attention, and massive economic impact. And Vikings fans, let me ask you this right now. Can you imagine the draft, all that energy, all those fans happening right in our city? Because that vision just got a whole lot more real. Now let's talk timing, because this is where things get interesting. The NFL has been rotating draft locations across the country, and the next few years are already mapped out. We already know Pittsburgh is hosting in 2026, and Washington, D.C. has locked in 2027. That leaves 2028 wide open, and guess what? Minnesota is making its move at exactly the right time. This isn't random. This is strategic. The Vikings are positioning themselves as the next logical destination, and that tells you this organization is thinking big. But this isn't just a simple proposal. The bid is being made in partnership with US Bank Stadium and the Minnesota Vikings organization itself, which adds serious weight to the effort. We're talking about financial backing, staff support, and full organizational commitment. This isn't passive. This is the Vikings stepping up as a driving force behind the bid. And when a franchise shows this level of commitment, it sends a message to the league. We're ready. Bring it here. One of the key figures behind this push made it very clear. The Vikings are fully invested in making this happen. And that kind of language matters more than you might think. When leadership says they're vested and invested, that's not just talk. That's a signal to the NFL that Minnesota is serious about delivering a top-tier event. So now I want to ask you, do you think the league respects that kind of commitment? Because history shows they absolutely do. Let's break down why this bid is such a big deal beyond just hosting rights. This is about elevating the entire franchise's status within the league. Landing the NFL Draft would tie the Vikings even closer to one of the NFL's biggest annual events. It's not just exposure, it's prestige. And for a team looking to stay relevant, competitive, and visible on the national stage, this kind of opportunity is huge. Now here's where things get even more exciting. US Bank Stadium is expected to be the central hub for the event. And let's be honest, that venue is already elite. But the plan doesn't stop there. The draft wouldn't just be inside the stadium, it would expand across the entire region. That means multiple locations, fan experiences, and events spreading. Energy all over Minnesota. This becomes more than football. It becomes a city-wide celebration. And if you've been following how the NFL Draft has evolved, you already know this is no longer just about picks and announcements. This is a full-blown festival. We're talking fan zones, red carpet moments, youth clinics, sponsor activations, the whole package. Minnesota's proposal is clearly leaning into that modern format, and that's exactly what the NFL is looking for. So yeah, this isn't just a bid. It's a vision. One of the potential additional locations mentioned is the TCO Performance Center, which could play a key role in hosting events. That adds another layer of value because now you're showcasing not just the stadium, but the entire Vikings infrastructure. And that's powerful, because now the league sees everything Minnesota has to offer. Facilities, organization, fan base, all of it. Let's talk about credibility, because Minnesota isn't going into this empty-handed. The state has already proven it can host massive NFL events. Super Bowl 52 in 2018 was a huge success, and that experience is now being used as a major selling point. That history matters, because when the NFL chooses a host, they want reliability, and Minnesota has already delivered. There's also an interesting historical angle here that could work in Minnesota's favor. The NFL has been spreading draft locations across different divisions. If Minnesota wins the 2028 bid, it would complete a full cycle of NFC North teams hosting the draft. That kind of symmetry might not be official criteria, but it definitely adds to the narrative. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where things get crazy. The economic impact of hosting the draft is massive. Detroit reportedly brought in over 750,000 fans and generated more than $200 million in economic impact. Green Bay followed up with over 600,000 attendees and more than $100 million. That's the level Minnesota is aiming for. And that kind of impact isn't just good for the city. It strengthens the Vikings' position as a major market franchise. It brings attention, investment, and long-term benefits that go beyond just one weekend. So yeah, this isn't just football. This is business, growth, and legacy. But here's the big question. What happens next? Right now, the NFL hasn't announced a timeline for selecting the 2028 host city. That means we're officially in the waiting game. And you already know we'll be watching every update closely, because this could develop fast. What we do know is this: the Vikings are now officially part of a serious, competitive bid. This isn't a rumor. This isn't speculation. This is real Minnesota Vikings news with league-wide implications. And even though it's not about players or trades, this might be one of the most important moves the franchise makes this year. Because moments like this shape perception, reputation, and future opportunities. So now I've got to hear from you, Vikings Nation. Do you think Minnesota should host the 2028 NFL Draft? Do you believe the Vikings have what it takes to win this bid and bring one of the biggest events in football to our city? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. I'm reading everything and I want to debate this with you. And if you're hyped about the future of the Minnesota Vikings, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with every Vikings fan you know. Because trust me, this story is just getting started. Skol.